Healing feels good because it feels like progress, like you're moving forward, taking action, doing something to ensure that eventually you're going to be okay. And maybe that's why so many of us become attached to healing, because healing promises us something, that one day with enough work, with enough clearing, enough releasing, enough integrating, we'll finally feel free, more confident, more aligned, more capable of creating the life we're hoping for. But if you've been doing the healing work for a while and it doesn't really feel like anything is changing, like you're still experiencing the same pain points and struggles and frustrations and blocks, and when you look at yourself and your life, you still seem like you're stuck in the same place, then it's time to understand why. Maybe this sounds familiar. You entered into the spiritual space, and for the first time in your life, you were met with the incredible power behind healing. That it didn't matter who you were or what you were going through, there was a reason, a discoverable reason for your hurt, a reason for your patterns, a reason for your limitations, a reason behind your fears, and what was blocking you from moving through them. You had tools to understand why you are the way that you are and how to change what you didn't like about your life. And at first, this felt incredibly validating because you had a framework for understanding yourself, methods for transforming your reality, and a language for understanding your pain. You were told to release ancestral patterns, repair damaged DNA, heal past life traumas, rewire unconscious belief systems, raise your vibration, right? And in doing so, you had the ability to completely transform your life into a better life, a freer life, a more expansive life. And so you got to work and did every healing you could find, maybe even learn how to facilitate them yourself. And for a while, it felt really empowering because every new layer you uncovered felt like progress. But eventually, something started to shift because the more healing you did, the more layers seemed to appear. And it became this endless journey of finding and fixing. And eventually, the healing work became your purpose. It was your job to be the one to heal yourself and everyone you know and love, to awaken and raise the consciousness of the collective, right? That you were literally put here on this planet to heal people. And every time you found some part of you that you disliked or that you felt was blocking you from the path ahead, a very small part of you celebrated, because in getting rid of it, one, you were fulfilling your role as healer, but also you were allowing for a more transcended version of you to emerge. What happens if the healing work you've been doing isn't really changing anything? What happens if it's just giving you something to do and like a reason for existing? And what happens if you never even really wanted to be a healer in the first place? Maybe healing isn't actually what you've been needing. Maybe what you've been needing is peace. And healing promised you that, but somewhere along the way, it became a job, a responsibility. And instead of leading you towards peace, it's just led you towards more healing. And the more you heal, the more you feel removed from the version of you you've been seeking. Someone different. And someone you're still waiting to appear. What if the healing work itself isn't the problem? What if it's just the relationship that you've created with it? Because if you're using healing as a means to an end, as the way that you're going to access some future version of you, a version of you that you feel is fulfilling the role as healer, or that has access to skills and abilities that you don't feel this version of you has access to yet, or that can manifest a reality that you still don't feel is available for this version of you, then what you're doing isn't healing. What you're doing is just reminding yourself that this version of you that's right here, right now, still isn't there yet. That you, who you are in this very moment, isn't where you want to be or who you want to be. And healing just becomes another pathway to fixing and changing and altering and undoing you, this version of you, so that you can hopefully one day reach another. What if healing was never about becoming someone else, but about allowing that version of you to exist here now? And what if the reason that nothing has changed despite all the healing work that you've done is because your relationship with you hasn't changed? Because if you're approaching healing from the belief that this version of you is still too wounded, too incomplete, too blocked, or just not good enough to fully love and accept, then every healing just reinforces that belief. And then every new thing you try just becomes subconscious confirmation that there's still something wrong with you. So even though healing promises peace, the relationship underneath is still rejection. And healing from rejection doesn't create peace. It creates resistance. And resisting you, when you've always resisted you, isn't change. It's a continuation of the same pattern in a different font, labeled as healing. Rather than healing the parts of you that you feel are holding you back, what if you chose to love and accept them instead? Because what could be more healing than loving you when you've only ever rejected you? And perhaps that is what the healing work has been trying to show you all along. That it's not about searching for all of the parts of you that you believe are the problem and then trying to get rid of them, but rather learning how to see and be with them differently. Because the way that you see you shapes how you feel inside of you. And if you've always felt shame and guilt and frustration and challenged by certain parts of you, then of course being you has felt painful. And of course the first thought is going to be to try to fix and change and get rid of them. But when you begin meeting those same parts from a place of compassion and understanding and love, something inside of you begins to shift. You feel differently. And isn't that the whole point? To feel free where you once felt trapped. To feel alive where you once felt numb. To feel confident where you once felt small. To be willing to move where you've previously held yourself back. So maybe healing isn't about fixing lineages and removing blocks and searching for parts of you to release. Maybe healing is about embracing aspects of you that you were taught to see as a problem and relating to you differently. Learning how to accept you where you've previously shunned you. Learning how to be there for you where you've previously learned not to. Because inside of a world where you feel free to be you, openly, honestly, unapologetically, without needing anything more than that, wouldn't you say that's healing? And wouldn't you say that that's the very thing you've been searching for all along? So, the next time you go looking for something to fix or heal or alter or change or release, see if you can allow instead. See if you can embrace what you previously were taught to resent. and witness just how much actually changes when you show love to the parts of you that you believed were the problem. And in time, feel what true change feels like. Love where you couldn't or wouldn't before.